Did you know that the roots of fallen trees can be added to the sides of the stream to add stability, protecting the area from vigorous stormwater erosion? The roots of the fallen stabilize the existing and the future. I don't know, I thought that was an interesting, fun fact. Lessons learned when you come to visit the creek. It seemed that they could apply to life in general. Doing some creek drinking means taking sips of the creek with your ears, and sometimes listening is difficult because you're trying to hear the sound of the creek over the sound of traffic. And, it's not always a negative thing that you're trying not to hear. It might be that you're trying to hear the creek over the sound of birds, bird song. So taking sips of the creek with your ears is what I call creek drinking. And you could take sips with your eyes too. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll pretend that I need to find water. And so I'm listening for the first signs of the existence of water, right? So now I'm really tuning in, and I need to find flowing water. I need to know if there's a creek nearby, and I try to detect what is the first moment that I hear the sound of the creek. And how does that sound change as I get closer and know that I'm going in the right direction? And can I hear it over the fray of the winged ones and the road warriors and whatever they may be? In the case of the Creekside visit, a road warrior might be an airplane, above or. So I think about, the creek and the water and how it's flowing, and I think about what it means to flow downstream and floating on the surface, and I think about what it means to go upstream against the natural rhythm. Sometimes we have to go against what is not natural, but is the prevailing force, and go upstream. And upstream we can arrive at some truth about what's really going on, right? Everything that we see that's happening downstream is a result, it's the effect of the causes that are made upstream. So it's important to go up sometimes and look at the source, and look at the creek in its entirety if possible, and have some reverence for all the wonder and the magic of what's happening. And look at the possibilities of all the good and all the bad that can happen, right? Like when there's flooding, and that might be a good thing for the land, or it could be a bad thing for people. But I also take it in another direction, and I ask myself, what does it mean to be listening for fresh water? What are we actually thirsting for when we're looking for water? And what does it mean to drink from the creek? Is it clear? Is it clean? Is there something that we're taking in that was being dumped upstream? There's something that shouldn't be there? Is it that we're just catching the residue or the remnants of an old story, and what we're really thirsty for is the truth of what happened upstream? I'm listening. I'm listening, when I hear the water, I know that depending on the situation, that the sound of water can be the sound of destruction or rescue. They say nothing stops water, that it's an unstoppable force. And so if water is pouring in and tearing something away, is that a problem? Or is it the very thing that is going to keep us alive? Is it revolution? Or is it something else? So I listen. I listen to the creek, and I want to establish a relationship with water, an understanding of water, and the possibilities that are contained in the currents and the forces of water. And once I'm listening that way, I ask myself, again, what is it that I hear coming through? And if I'm receiving a message, what am I going to do with that? One time I was listening and water simply told me that water is a conduit and that I am a conduit and that I need to let something move through me. So I like to show reverence for water with music, the music of my own making.